Hi, how you doing? Welcome back to Smoking Cheltenham. As you can see today, I'm back in the conservatory. The wife's at home, so I've been relegated into here. Land of cushions. Made my little hole. How you doing anyway? I hope you're okay. Hope you found some winners. Brilliant racing this weekend, weren't it? There's some class performances. All we'll do today, I've got a couple of bets for the ante-post, but it's not very exciting. Mainly, I'll just give my thoughts on the weekend's racing. I hope you've got a couple of flasks. There were a lot there, weren't they? So we've got plenty to get through. I've been busy in a way. I've got pages and pages of notes here. So we'll get straight into it then. Cheltenham on Saturday, going with good to soft. 2 mile grade 2 juvenile hurdle. Sergino beat Burdett Road 10 lengths here. Milantino led. Sergino sat third. On the approach to the third, Sergino went second. Milantino, he was several clear at this point, but shortly afterwards Sergino closed it to sort of 2 or 3 lengths. He took it up on the approach to the last, and what happened from there were jaw dropping. He just took off in his hands and he flew up the hill there under hands and heels for an impressive 10 length victory. His jumping here were massively improved. He looks an Arkle type for next year, this horse. You know, Nicky's got Constitution Hill there, hasn't he? So all goes well there. I can see this fella going straight over fences. But before that, he's got a date in the Triumphante, and he's got to be the one to beat there. Now, I must admit, I've not really looked at the markets for this race. As I mentioned before, I don't take too much note of the juveniles till I have to, really. But yeah, this was something, weren't it? So after this race, I thought, let's see if we can get a bit of 7-2 or something for this fella. Maybe even I'll go down to like threes or something. So loaded odds checker up there, 6-4. Yeah, 6-4 best, pretty much. He's as low as evens. Wow. Right, we have got Dublin this weekend, haven't we? The DRF. Willie's going to need something special there, isn't he? Or even one of the other trainers, you know. We're going to need to see a big performance there. You know, I'd, you certainly, anyway, you couldn't be taking the 6-4 whatever now before that, because surely, you know, that's a deep race, the Juvenile in Dublin. Something's could even go favourite, you know, if something wins impressive, be sort of 10 lengths or so. Pardon me. So he's certainly not a bet just now, but he's certainly one you want on your side on the day, isn't he? But I think we'll just see what happens this weekend first. Yeah, he were good though, weren't he? He were. What a start to the day that were. Burdett Road, yeah, he just, yeah, no. I don't know. He's kind of come off the flat, hasn't he? Maybe he's just sort of not improving like the others are. Maybe we're a little bit below here, but, you know, there's no world you can see him turning this round with Sergino, is it really? Right then, 2 mile 4.5 furlong novice handicap chase. Ginny's Destiny beat Theatre Man nearly 3 length here. There's not really much to say here, other than he led all the way, pressed at times by Prairie Wolf, and he jumped great, he did. This fella, he went from Tom Lacey to Paul, and for Paul he's had 4 runs over fences, all at Cheltenham, is 3 from 4. carried 12 stone here off a marker 147. Stage Star took this and the Turners, and he'll be trying to emulate his stablemate there. He was a little fortunate last time, I think, to beat Grey Dawning. He made a bad mistake 2 out, but Grey Dawning does look a proper Grade 1 horse, and he bolted in the next day. He's an intriguing contender, I think, for the Turners. It's a race that could lack strength in depth. I'd be keen to take the favourite on in this race. He's around 8-1, and I won't put anyone off an each way bet on him at the moment. I just want to see kind of what else falls into that race, but yeah, he's certainly a serious player, I'd say, for the Turners. He is. Yeah, this was good. Yeah, 8-1 each way. He kind of looks like one of them. He looks sure to be kind of thereabouts, doesn't he? You can see him hitting the frame at least, you know. Right then, 3 mile 1.5, Grade 2, Cotswold Chase. Capodanno beat the Real Whacker 2 3/4 lengths here. We Stay Away Faye a further 3/4 lengths back in third. Right. Yeah, the Real Whacker and Ahoy Senor raced off into the lead from the start. Royal Piguet sat third, Stay Away fourth. That's Alright Gino and Capodanno, they settled in rear. The Real Whacker, he won that early battle by the second, where Ahoy Senor made a mistake, and he quickly went 6 or 7 clear. At the 6th fence, an open ditch, Stay Away Faye took a chance there, but he got away with it. We lost Sergino at the 9th. And sadly, we've lost him, haven't we? That's a shame for connections. Yeah. We a circuit to go. The field had bunched up, and there were only maybe 3 or 4 lengths covering them. Capodanno were going noticeably well. He were. At the 16th, Ahoy Senor went up to press the Real Whacker. Royal Piguet and Stay Away Faye were tracking them through a length or 2 behind, and Capodanno, Paul, were just sat there watching on, weren't he? At the second last, they were pretty much a line of 5, and turning for home, Capodanno was travelling the best. He took it up on the approach to the last. Stay Away Faye tried to go with him, but seemed to falter a little after the last. Ahoy Senor were third. The Real Whacker dropped to 4th there. The Royal Piguet came down at that last fence. Capodanno, he took this well at the line. The Real Whacker and Stay Away Faye stayed on after looking outpaced close home. Stay Away Faye stayed on noticeably well close home. Right, so we'll take this, break this down a little. Capodanno, he landed a bit of a touch here. It's one of them shoulda, coulda, woulda, like, you know, that close. Right, if you want him, you're always happy, I'd say. I thought this were a cracking ride from Paul. He were a little bit disappointing in La Home Press's Browns, but it was soft ground. It was bad that ground that day. I think he likes this better ground. Last season he didn't get out till February. He pulled up in the National. He's not entered for the Gold Cup. He is for the Ryanair. Sorry, it's bouncing down here. Come on, Pascal Vega. So I apologise if the sound comes through here. Yeah, he looks in a better place this year, I'd say. He may go the national route again and sort of prep for that in the Ryanair. I'd like him, maybe if he just skipped Cheltenham altogether and he held him back for like the Aintree Bowl and the Punchestown Gold Cup. He'd be interesting in those races, I'd say. The Real Whacker, he's been bang out of form. He ran much better here. Well, it really is bouncing down. I do apologise. Yeah, he ran much better here at Real Whacker. He's a Gold Cup place contender, I'd say. Stay Away Faye. He ran well here, to be fair, in his open graded race like. He only beat 3.5 lengths at the line. Paul said after the race he'd left plenty to work on here. I think the jockey said he sort of blew up and then stayed on again, and that's kind of what it looked like. It's worth bearing in mind he improved a lot from his prep last year going into Cheltenham. He did actually get beat in his prep. Saying all that, this were 3-1.5 on the stiffer track. Dropping to that sharper track on the Wednesday, the 3 mile. It's kind of got shades of Santini and Jerry Colombo about him, hasn't he? I just get that feeling. I mean, we've got a nice ticket at 16s there. I'm glad to have him on our side. But yeah, you just think something with a bit of pace is going to come and do him, I think. But you never know. I mean, you know, if 1 or 2 fail to perform, he's there, isn't he, you know. So he's a nice horse to have on your side at the price we got him at. Gut feeling, 1 or 2. I mean, we've also got Monty Star, haven't we? We're sat on a nice ticket for him. And funny enough, he got beat by Stay Away Faye in a point-to-point a good while ago now. I know Stay Away Faye's the type that's improving as well, but Monty Star really were just a shell of a horse at the time. He's really after coming into himself, I'd say, this year. I kind of like Monty Star, I do, and Factifal, you know, I like him. They'd be the 2 for me, I think. But yeah, this were good from Stay Away Faye, it were fair run. Right. The rearranged Grade 1 2 mile Clarence House. The second year in a row, we had a bit of a turn up here. We Elixir the Nuts doing John Bon by a neck. John Bon were 1-4 here. I imagine many hackers up and down the betting shops, up and down the land, went up in smoke here. Nicky said after the race, John Bon made one mistake. Sorry. He was struggling to see, poor Nicky, weren't he, earlier in the season. I think he was struggling to see his horses on the gallops there. His eyesight would go in, so he's had some laser eye surgery, hasn't he? I'd maybe be asking for a refund there. Jesus. Look, right. What I've got here, he made a mistake at the 3rd. He gave the 4th too much air. He was slow at the 5th, he was slow at the water, slow at the 7th. Watching me, mate, I said at this point I wouldn't like to have 4 to win 1 here. He were poor at the 8th. He were good at the 9th and 10th at top of the hill. Now that's where he looked good last time he were at Cheltenham, and I think that's where they kind of wanted to win the race like they did last time. But his jumping had lost him that much ground. He weren't in that position this time to just sort of move on and kill the race there. He made a shocking mistake, didn't he? 3 out, and he was lucky to survive. Despite that shuddering error, he was still kind of looking good on the approach to 2 out, and he jumped that fine. He went a length up or so on the approach to the last, but he was again slow. He slowed into the fence, he lost his momentum and the lead, and he couldn't quite peg it back up the hill. One mistake. Now, as long as he's not done himself any harm, and he had a really tough race here too, I expect he'll be back. We'll see how he comes out of this, He did run a pretty poor race in his preps the previous 2 seasons too. But to be fair, you might know, I said before, I've never been convinced about him at Cheltenham, particularly on that run from the back of the last there. Always kind of thought El Fabiolo were a good thing here, and watching this, that could only increase your confidence. The bookies certainly agree. I think he's 1-2 now, El Fabiolo. But he's a good horse, he's a top class horse, and he will be back. I don't know what happened here, but this weren't the real John Bonbait, really. Right then, 2 mile 1, grade 2, Unibet Hurdle. Lossiemouth beat Love Envoy 9.5 lengths. We said, didn't we, she might win well here. Reboard led, Lossiemouth settled in 4th. She was good at the 2nd, and that took her into the share of 3rd, but Paul kind of tugged her back into 4th there. She again jumped into 3rd at the 5th, and again Paul just took a little tug on her. She was again quick at the 6th, and this time Paul allowed her to stay there in a share of 3rd. 2 out, Love Envoy moved up to press Reboard. Lossiemouth cruised up, didn't she, on the approach to the last. Pinged it and careered away up the hill under a motionless Paul Townsend. I thought this was absolutely flawless. I did. She travelled, she jumped, she quickened. I love how Willie has trained her this year. It can be hard, can't it, for these juveniles in the next season. I love how he's just left her off until after Christmas. And as it were first run of the season, she should improve plenty from this. She should. Kind of understandably, there were a bit of champion hurdle talk after this. But Connections quickly sort of squashed that and pointed it towards the mares. The big thing for me were how she switched off. Big difference from last season. Last year in the Triumph, she was just far too keen, tanked. As we said, she just tanked with ball to the front, kind of running away with him. But she settled beautifully here. I don't see the stamina being a problem here in the mares. It's 2-4, and it's an extra 3 furlongs on an easier track. She's settled better now. I mean, last year, like I say, she over-raced, she tanked to the front. She had no right to do what she did after the last, in that she just quickened away again a couple of lengths and maintained that all the way up to the line. She had no right to do that. She should have fell in a hole there. She should have. So I think she's got plenty. Yeah, I think she'll be fine. Class counts for plenty. We've seen some class 2 milers such as Honeysuckle, take this. I think she'll travel all over him and just kill him for speed. She will. she looks special. I think she's special. She's certainly up there for me with Vroom Vroom and Benny. It's certainly a little below Annie yet. She's got that to prove. She's 4 to 5 now. That 2s or that 3s double would be looking alright, weren't it? Should be maybe a little braver there. But we are on her at 7 to 2, aren't we? On the day, maybe that would not be the worst price in the world, 4 to 5. I wouldn't be in a rush to take it now, because if you're backing a horse at that price, you want to know everything, don't you? And particularly the ground. So you won't want to take 4 to 5 and then it turn up bottomless ground on the day. That would, that would worry you. That's probably the one thing that could happen that would worry you, And I don't think she's going to be like 1 to 2 on the day. I don't. I'll tell you why. I think maybe. Although it might depend on early results in the day. Yeah, as it stands, we've got 5 odds on favourites for Cheltenham, haven't we? 5. Now, okay, Marine Nationale and Galloping's got to come out at Dublin next week and do it, haven't they? But let's just say, for example, they do. Shortly after that, we're going to have the preview circuits, aren't we, and all that. Now, we've got 5 odds on shots here at Cheltenham. There'll be Marine Nationale, won over course distance over hurdles last year at the festival. We'll have Lossiemouth. We'll have Constitutional, obviously won course distance last year. El Fabiolo won course distance last year. All festival winners these. And Galloping Deschamps won the race last year over course distance. Now, there's nothing to say all 5 can't win, is there? They're in. But, history shows that 1 or 2 will go down. I say, one day they might all go in, but it hasn't happened yet, not to my knowledge anyway. There's normally 1 or 2 go down. I'd say because she's got it to prove over this distance, on these preview circuits, they'll be like, right, what are your bankers, what are your lays, and maybe there'll be when you look at them other ones, they look so solid. Lossiemouth's got to prove she's not done the distance before. So people might, I think there'll be a school of people anyway, a school of thought to take her on. So that might just hold the price up a little bit there. Okay, that was just my thinking, But yeah, she's class, isn't she? I mean, like I say, you see odds on shots beat at Cheltenham. So I'm not going to sit here and tell you she's definitely going to win, We don't know, do we? I mean, look at John Bon on Saturday, Things happen. But yeah, she looks class to me. Right, the Cleeve Hurdle. None of these, I don't think, will trouble the judge at Cheltenham. You'd probably give Noble Yates an each way chance. The most interesting thing for me out of this was strong leader would be a length or so. Now that were much his best run of this season, up to 3 mile for the first time. He looked like he needed 5, didn't he? Got severely outpaced, but to be fair, I don't think he likes Cheltenham. He made a couple of bad mistakes here, and I don't think he really comes down the hill. He ran twice at Aintree last year. He won a Novice Hurdle there, and then he finished second, 2 lengths behind in the pocket in a Grade 1 at 2 Mile. That was much his best hurdle form of the season. So I just think it'll be interesting back at Aintree for the 3 miler, the 3 mile hurdle race. I'll just keep an eye out for him for that. Paisley Park legend, isn't he? I mean, he'd love to own a horse like him. He ran well. Right then. Then the last at Cheltenham, 2 mile 4.5, Grade 2 Novice Hurdle. Gidley Park beat Lucky Palace half a length here. He's a big gawky thing to me, this Gidley Park. For the size of him, I thought he jumped surprisingly well in the main. And he showed a good attitude under pressure as well. He looks all over a chaser, doesn't he? I think he's going to make a cracking chaser. He'd look a nice type for the Browns. He's unbeaten, and he's, I think, top price 10-1 now for the Ballymore. Right, now I'm only giving you my view here. You may disagree, that's fine. You know, it's all about opinions. For me, he's got no chance in a Ballymore. None. I wouldn't back him at 25s. Honestly, I wouldn't. You know, the tighter track, you know, the old course is going to make things more difficult for him, I think. And, right, last 10 Ballymore winners here. How many 3 mile plus races of the last 10 winners won between them after taking this? Right, two races out the last 10 winners won at 3 mile or further. I mean, Sam Crow's, if you discount Sam Crow, he's winning some egg and spoon hunter chases at minute, isn't he? But apart from that, we've had Envoy Allen, who's won the 3 mile champion chase at Down Royal, but I think he barely gets 3 mile. It's fair to say his best trip's 2.5, isn't it? And Yorkshire, who took the rehearsal chase off 142 as a 10-year-old. So I think what I'm getting at is that what that shows you is you need like a sharper type for this Ballymore. These big 3 mile chasing types, they just don't win. You know, I'd say the Irish are looking good for a 1-2-3 here. I would. I think maybe the only horse I can think of that could get in that 3 would be maybe a Django Bay if he came here. But yeah, I'd say Irish 1-2-3 is quite likely in this. Okay, right, Donny. Good ground, good to soft places. Two mile Grade 2 Rossington Novice Hurdle. Jericho de Roppenay beat Lump Sum a length and a quarter. He settled in 3rd place. He reached for the 3rd and he got in tight to 4 out. 3 out, he jumped up to a share of the lead with Fiercely Proud. He was asked between the last 2 for the first time in his life. He came off the bridle. It took him a while, but eventually, he got on top in the last half a furlong or so. And he was going away at the line. Now, the time here was slow compared to the other hurdle races, noticeably so. So I think this maybe turned into a bit of a sprint. The bare form is, you know, you'd imagine would be well short of a supreme winner. But he maybe found the ground a little quick, possibly. So it were very slowly ran. And this is the first time in his life he's come off the bridle. I think it took a little while, didn't it, for the penny to drop. And I think just the last sort of 20-30 yards ago, you could see it did. I think he'll have learnt plenty from this. I do. You know, saying all that, it is hard to not be a little disappointed with him, and that would be reflected in the market. The bookies did push him out, and probably for about the first time of the season, I think he's at about the price he should be now. He's around 7-8 to 1, I think, which I think's about right. I do think he'll have learnt loads, and I think he could be a different proposition next time. I won't be putting a line through him. You know, I won't be in a rush to back him at the same time. It didn't enter him in the Ballymore, which seems a strange decision, because, you know, that could be a good option for him. I don't know. So I guess it's supreme or nothing. Yeah. Two-mile, Grade 2, Yorkshire Rose Mares Hurdle. Ashrow Diamond beat Under Control 2.5 here. Garlamaso were further 2 length back in third. Stainsby Girl led. Ashrow and Garlamaso shared second. Under Control were not good at the first and had a share of fourth. Garlamaso were a bit scruffy at the second. Ashrow kind of capitalised on that and moved into clear second on her own. 3 out, Ashrow Diamond jumped to the front, travelling all over her rivals. Garlamaso and Under Control were asked to close here, but they could never lay a glove on the winner, and after the last they made no impact on her there, although Under Control did pull away from Garlamaso. I thought this was seriously impressive from Ashrow Diamond. I think maybe she's improved from last year, you'd have to say. I think she jumped and travelled great. She always looked the winner. You know, last year she looked to improve for the step up to 2.5 at Fairy House. She's got loads of speed. I think she'd be a big player in the Mares Hurdle. The shoe would look the obvious danger at this point to Lossiemouth. Under Control, he bounced back from a woeful effort first time out after a wind up. She stayed on well after the last to pull away from Garlamaso, and I don't think she'll have damaged the handicap too much, mark there, if that's the route they want to go. JP, to me, he doesn't seem to have an obvious contender for the Mares Hurdle though, so I think she'll probably go there. And to be fair, she looks a bit overpriced in relation to Garlamaso. I think she's kind of 20s and Garlamaso's 10s. She's just after beating her. Seems a bit wrong to me, that. So I think that's where she'll go, unless Jatara runs really well at the DRF this weekend and JP kind of just adds her to his basket one evening. He's got a bit of history with the family. Auntie Jeski springs to mind. It wouldn't surprise you. If that happened, then maybe they might look at the handicap route for Under Control. Garlamaso, this were her first run of this season, and maybe she'd prefer a bit more dig, I think, and she should improve plenty from this and also for further. I can't see the second and third troubling Lossiemouth at all here. Lossiemouth were better than Garlamaso last year, and I think she's improved more than Garlamaso as she's improved plenty. I'd say she's more settled this year. You'd have to respect the winner though. She were usually impressive, and yeah, she'd look the obvious danger at this point. Lossiemouth though, she's 2 from 2 at Cheltenham, isn't she? Ashrow's never been there yet. That counts for plenty. It does. Right, I've got to get Kerry Hill a mention. Won the 3 mile Grade 2 Riverdon Novice for Ruth Jefferson. Us Ramblers, we won this Welcome to Countries. He were well backed here and he did nothing wrong, to be fair, I didn't think. But this Kerry Hill just slammed him by 7.5 lengths in a good looking time as well. He'd won at Kelso first time up and then ran 4th behind Shanna Bob and Destroy the Evidence in that Grade 2 at Cheltenham. He turned that form round in no uncertain terms here. We Destroy the Evidence, although it's probably fair to say maybe he didn't run his race here. Now, last year's winner of this, Maximilian, beat Stay Away Faye. Stay Away Faye obviously went on to win the Albert Bartlett, but Maximilian, he went on to finish runner-up to Apple Away in the Grade 1 3 mile Sefton at Aintree. I just have a feeling that race would suit Kerry Hill well. They disappointed a little at Cheltenham, Kelso, Donny, pretty flat. I think Aintree would suit well. He could be a big player there if they skip Cheltenham and wait for Aintree, and he's maybe one to look out for there. You know, probably be a price. Just one to keep an eye on for Aintree. And we finished Saturday off Fairy House, soft ground this, 2 mile 2 Grade 3 Solerina. Jade de Grugy beat a penny 100, 6.5 lengths here. Look to the West took them along. Jade de Grugy was a little keen early, just over the first couple, and tracked her in second. She was fast 4 out. Brian took a pull. Turning for home, she moved up sides, just cantering. She took it up, jumping 2 out, quickened up smartly between the last 2, and put the race to bed there, really. A bit untidy at the last, and she just won as she liked. She looks all class, she does. She dropped back 2 furlong in trip here from her debut on better ground, but she's got loads of speed, hasn't she? I think we've got 3 cracking mares here at the front of this market. Right now, I'm thinking she might be the best. With the connection she's got, I think she'll probably go off clear favourite. So, you know, yeah. Bright days ahead, she's got to have her prep for Cheltenham yet. You know, we'll see what she can do. May even come in that Grade 1 at Dublin against the boys. Yeah. I won't put you off the 3-1 even. I think you want her on your side for Cheltenham. Hopefully you're on her there. We're on her already, aren't we, at bigger prices? But yeah, if you're not on her yet, then yeah, she looks good. Sunday, Donny, good to soft in places again. 2 mile Novice Hurdle, Dysart Enos beat Just Us 7 lengths. Settled in 3rd, big at the first, skewed at the 3rd, moved into 2nd, 4 out, loomed up just cantering away on the approach to 2 out, just cruised away and won as she liked. 1-9 here, like, you know. She's got tons of speed. She's got course form in the book. You know, she escapes the penalties, so she'll be getting a little bit of weight off the 2 big Irish challengers. And she's got to be a big contender at Cheltenham, she has. It's going to be a cracking race, it is. Maybe a little bit of recency bias, but my feeling at the minute is this Jade de Grugy, although maybe that could change. We'll have to see what Brighter Days Ahead does in her prep. But yeah. One and both, aren't we? So at nice prices. So that's one race we've done all right at. Right. Nice then. Soft to heavy, more or less here. 2 mile grade 3 Limestone Lad Hurdle. Zarak the Brave beat Tell Me Something Girl a length and a quarter. Tell Me Something Girl took it up at the second. Zarak the Brave loomed up to her between the last two, cruising away, and he went on and won nicely. But Tell Me Something Girl galloped all the way to the line and kept him honest. The winner, I don't think, is of any interest for Cheltenham, but he's a nice horse and paid a bit of a compliment to Lossiemouth if she needed it. She put him in his place last year. Now, I must confess to having a soft spot for this Tell Me Something Girl. She did me, and I think many punters, a big favour when she landed a bit of a punt and when she powered up that hill in the mare's Novice hurdle that day. That joy was matched by equal amounts of despair, however, when she got brought down still swinging the year after in the mare's hurdle. Now, she didn't take to fences despite her looks, but she looks much happier this season back over hurdles, and I think Henry's building her up expertly. He's bringing her to the boil again just perfectly for Cheltenham. Now, Kenny Alexander, he's got a big contender there for the mares already, aren't he, with Garland so I think they think a lot of that horse connections. Would he want to fire 2 bullets at Lossiemouth? Maybe, but maybe not. Basically what I'm getting at is I think this girl, I'd really like her in a Coral Cup. I think she'd have a good chance there. I think she'd be really interesting anyway. I do. I would be on her. I know I would be, you know. But she's not priced up for that race yet. So we'll just keep an eye out for that. I mean, she's effectively ran off 145 here, and she's got beat a length and a quarter. Last time she over hurdles, she had a rating of 142 in Ireland and 145 in England, so that would sort of tally with that. I think she'd be around that mark. But the way she were kept up to work suggests the Coral Cup is not really on the radar at the minute. But you never know, that could change. I would like her in that. Right then, grade 3, 3 mile 1, Novice Chase. Embassy Gardens beat Sandor Cleggan 10 lengths. Sandor led on the inside and the other 3 were kept wide, headed by Embassy Gardens. Embassy Gardens, he winged the 3rd. He got close to the 4th, but he was clever there and didn't lose any ground. He put in a good jump at the 5th. He winged 6 out. He jumped to the front over the last, and he powered away on the running. He looks the part, this horse. He's a lovely stamper chaser. He's a fantastic jumper. You know, when he meets him on a stride, he takes a length out of him. When he gets in close, he's clever, he doesn't really lose any ground or momentum. And he looks all stamina. I think he looks classy, this guy, and fencers have settled him down. Now, this may prove controversial, this, and I understand. I know plenty will disagree with me, but I backed this fella yesterday for the 4 miler after this, and I'm going to put him up here as well. He has been nibbled away there, but we'll have 4 points at 11-4. None run a no bet with Paddy's. Now, I know this race kind of fell apart. Sandor got the worst of the ground, I think, on the inside. I mean, Paul's brilliant with these. You know, if he If I were a jockey, I'd just be following Paul around there, when the ground's like this. Let's be clear about it, maybe didn't get home. So yeah, it did fall apart this. I don't know what the form's worth. He does flash his tail sometimes, he has that under pressure. And I think that would be the only worry if he gets into a battle. It's like, what will he find? But he's a young horse. I mean, Clarence gave him the benefit of the doubt. I do think fences have settled him down and he's improved tremendously for them. Willie's always held this horse in some regard, I think. And I thought the interview he gave with Gary O'Brien after the race was quite revealing. I wrote down some quotes for you. Some places kind of cut the quotes a little and they can look misleading, but this is genuinely what he said. He said he loves jumping fences. He were 2 feet over hurdles. He said galloping, jumping and staying is his game. When asked if this would or could be Patrick's ride in the 4-miler, he said he's in the Browns. I'll have a word with connections with the owners, but the 4-miler would look made for him, I think. And a little later, when asked if he could be competitive in a Browns, he said, I think so, but he'd be favourite for the 4-miler, and any time you're favourite for a race, I think that's the route he should go. So he looks fairly certain to line up here for the 4-miler. But we'll take the 11 to 4 non-runner no bet. I think he's only top price 3s anyway, maybe 100 to 30 in a place. Now Statler took this en route to winning at Cheltenham. I'm not sure where this leaves Manila Kakuna, but I think there's little doubt this fella's a stable number 1. Nick Rocket looks to be going to the 10 up. His last 3 runs, we've mentioned this before, have been at Fairyhouse. And I have a feeling the Irish National could be his big target. He could go the Iron Maximus route, taking the Browns as a sort of 2nd or 3rd string before rocking up in the Irish National, although there is a shorter gap there now. Of the opposition, Corbett's Cross doesn't jump well enough for me. I've seen him 3 times now. I think, yeah, don't jump well enough for me. I can't have Flooring Porter. I think he still might end up in the Stayers Hurdle despite what Gavin said. Salvador Ziggy of Elliott's. Salvador Ziggy, I just don't think he's in the same class as this horse. Favre de Champeau, he's not for me. I thought he looked a little outclassed the first day. The second day, the race sort of fell apart around him. Disappointed last time. Yeah, I don't think he's got that class, this fella. I think the most solid of the opposition is 3-card Bragg for Gordon. Yeah. Now, he's top price 12s. And I think we're going to put him up for a point as well. He's top price 12s. I do think Embassy Gardens has a touch more class, though, and he's the better jumper. The thing that stopped me putting him up, right, you'll just have to bear with me, I'll be 1 sec. That's better. Sorry about that. I've had a lot of coffee this morning, and it's a bit nippy in here. If you're tuning in and expecting some production qualities, we don't have any of that yet. No glitz and glamour. You can always fast forward, but you can't. Where were we? 3-card Bragg, yeah. I was going to put him up a point. He's top price 12s, 9 to 1 non-run and no bet. But he's nearly 20s on Betfair. It's just worried me slightly. I guess out of the three there with Gordon's, I'd say 3-card Bragg's the best horse. And for that reason, maybe he doesn't have an obvious contender, does he, for the Browns? I don't think. So maybe he might end up in the Browns. Now, you wouldn't mind that non-runner no bet, but with him being like nearly 20s on Betfair, I don't know. More firms are going non-runner no bet now, aren't they?